That was just for me to set it temporarily, because look right here. This is my UMask 0037. As soon as I close my terminal and log back in and look at my UMask again, it's reset. So to make our UMask persist, well, the shell usually gets the default UMask from a shell initialization file. I haven't looked on these machines, but probably no. Yeah, let me go look in. What was the machine I was playing on the other day? Right here. UMask over there. There we are. Okay, so do you remember the .profile file from IT-3100? This is a file that is executed when you spin up a shell. It goes and sets some default values and whatnot. We can actually set the UMask over there. If I look in that file, you can see it's commented out right now, but I could go make a change, uncomment it, and put the UMask in that I want. Then every time I log in, I'll have that UMask. Okay, there is that option. However, there's also a system, there is a system setting. If all users have the same UMask, we go change it. What you need to do for your assignment is, let's go look. For system, this is a little ways down. This is right here. So you haven't got there yet, users and groups. But I've went over all of it for us now, so you can begin working on it. It's not a big deal. System install, you should definitely be working on, and hopefully you're almost done with that. But let me talk about what we're doing on this, and then I'll get down to UMask and how this applies. So, this assignment, you're going to make work areas for the following 3 different groups on your system you plan to use as a web server, right? For assignment system install, you set up NS1, NS2, a web server. Well, a machine that we said is going to be our web server, and a machine is going to be our mail server. Correct? We talked about that? Okay. So you're going to create a Simpson group. How do we create a group? Add group. And then you're going to create these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 users. How do we create users? Add user. How do we add user to a group? Add user Homer space Simpson. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing with these other groups. If you don't recognize these, Flintstones, like an old cartoon. Simpson is too. Oh, Simpson's still on. Still running?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think people know that. Okay. All right. Make sure you're on the web machine. Make sure you're choosing secure passwords for these users. If your machine gets hacked at any time during the semester, you're going to receive an F for the course.
Oh.
Maybe I'll have to set up my little hacker that goes out and tests all your passwords. Actually, I had to put that in there because the first time I taught this class, someone created a user called Fred and the password was Frog. And they got hacked really quick. Now, that was back when we were actually letting you SSH into your machines directly from off campus. We don't do that anymore.
So if we get into someone else's, they just get an F?
Yeah, you can deface their machine.
That's rude.
No, anyway, just make sure you're using good passwords. Okay. Before creating any accounts, this is critical. Before you do any user accounts, those that are playing on their computers, you're going to miss out on this. Before you create any, because this happens every semester, before you create any accounts, before you issue any add user commands, you must go into Etsy-Scale. What's Etsy-Scale again? Yeah, their default home directory. Okay, such that all new accounts will have a UMask that allows all privileges for the user and group and none for the world. You have to, okay. So remember, this .profile, where did it come from? Etsy-Scale. So if we were to go into Etsy-Scale and edit the .profile, prior to adding all of our users will then have the correct UMask, and we won't have to go back and modify each of their own home directory.profile. That's what we have to do, or we have to delete all the users and start over. So before you create any new users, go to etsyscale.profile and create that UMask. Now you're going to have to figure out what that UMask is. How am I going to make it so that all new files give the user and group all privileges and the world 0? You're going to have to figure out how to calculate that UMask.
007.
I'll let you guys. So, that's, okay, then you'll create the accounts and groups listed above. Each of the, okay, so basically Lisa her primary group's going to be Lisa, but then she's also going to belong to Simpson group. For each group, after you create each group, create a directory in /work. So you're going to do it mkdir/work, and you're also going to do it mkdir/work/Simpson, for example.
So no $sign?
Right, no $sign. That's going to be replaced by Simpson or Flintstone or Rubble. The directory should be owned by the last member listed in the group above. Okay, so if I create /work/Simpson or /work/Flintstone, the directory should be owned by the Pebbles user and the Flintstone group, because up here, Pebbles was the last one listed. So she's going to be the one that owns the user that owns the directory, but it's going to be owned by the Flintstone group.
You would have to log in as Pebbles and create the directory there, right?
You could, or you could, if you're in as your super user, you could do the correct chown command to set the ownership of the directory to Pebbles. Yep. Okay, then the permissions on the directory should be set to allow full privileges for the user and group and none for the world. This really doesn't have anything to do with UMask. This is a chmod command that you're going to do to accomplish that. It should also have a mode setting so that new files or directories inside the directory will belong to the group that owns the directory. For example, no matter which user creates the file in work Rubble, the new directory will always belong, or the new file will always belong to the Rubble group. What's that? Set GID. Log in as each user now, and go into their /work/Simpson directory and create a file. Make sure that you can create a file and you have the correct ownership and permissions, and then you're done. Then you just have to, here's your submission file. It should be called user_info.txt, and it should consist of one line that has the IP address of your machine, IP:, the address of your machine. You shouldn't put anything else in these submission files. I do not go read them. My script goes through and parses, finds the IP address, and logs into the machine and grades stuff. So don't put little notes for me in there because it won't work. Okay, so that was the users and groups assignment, and I said how the UMask pertains to this, right? Questions that occur to you yet? There may be later as you get into that. But I was just trying to be really. Okay. Finally, we got through with talking about users and groups. So what are we working on right now? Well, I can't remember the due dates for, let's see, ownership count. That should have already been in, but I haven't looked at it yet. Let's look over our short schedule. Ownership count was due last time. Dangerous permissions should be due today. That can be uploaded to Canvas. System install 1, hopefully by Friday. Hopefully we've started doing the install. I don't have the submission link working up here yet correctly, so I'll have to go figure that out. And then you can be working on users and groups. Okay. Any other questions yet? All right.
When do you think it'll be fixed?
Today. I think I know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to go change everything. All right. So now we're switching gears. Now what I do in this class is we focused on creating users a little bit. Now we're going to jump over and talk about DNS a little bit for a week or so. Then we'll jump over and talk about email for a little bit. Then we'll jump and talk about file systems for a little bit. Then we'll come back, talk about DNS. So we'll keep coming back to DNS, and it's better than just throwing all the DNS stuff to you at once, or all the other topics, because I think they're all kind of integrated, and we'll come to the other topics as we need them. For DNS, for example. That's why we'll come back to DNS. So our initial look at DNS. You guys